Finally, after being gone for a couple of years, Thriller is finally back at the Lyric Theatre. Oh. Sorry about that. A Thriller is finally back at the Lyric Theatre. I'm sorry, this joke was so silly. Yes, 222 continues its long reign of different West End theatres, as this show has been battered around the West End so much that I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years it's played in every single one. Honestly, this musical... this is not a musical. God, this is not a musical. The Ghost ain't singing. This play's popularity confused me at the start. It wasn't really a play that I wanted to go see or felt any need to. There were a couple of casts that stood out to me, but I never really got round to seeing it until now, when they announced that Cheryl, previously known as Cheryl Cole, you may know her from the Spice Girls, would be joining the cast. If you had told me that a Spice Girl would make their West End debut in a play, I would not have believed you. But here we are. So, what did I think of the play? And let's be honest, you're all here for this. What did I think of Cheryl? And do I now understand the popularity of 222? Let's find out. But if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Ellie. I talk about theatre. I do reviews, I do news, I do discussions, I do video essays, I do variety. All about theatre, and if that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting like and subscribing. It really helps me out, it helps out the channel. But let's go catch a ghost. I've themed myself very well today, you know, black and red, and I've even got like little ghost earrings. Look at my ghosty earrings. Aren't they spooky? Now, this is a play that is well known for its big twist, and out of respect for the wishes of the show and how they ask you not to share what the twist is, I will not be diving into that side of spoilers in this review. I will touch on it, but I'm not going to give the details of it. So let's talk about the play itself. The show follows a dinner party hosted by Jenny and her partner Sam. They invite Lauren and Ben over to their house, and Jenny reveals that the reason that she's invited them is because she's been hearing a ghost in her newly born daughter's room. She recounts about how every night at 2:22 she hears footsteps and a man crying in her daughter's bedroom, but when she goes in to see what's going on, there is no man there. The play surrounds the different ideas of the afterlife, belief, and obviously ghosts and spirits and whether these exist or not. And I think for the most part, the book of this show is very tightly written. Writer Danny Robbins does a really good job at balancing these different ideas, bringing in characters who have very conflicting worldviews, and exploring these different themes in a remarkably interesting way. This is the part of the play that interests me a lot more. This isn't really a horror show, it is a lot more of a thriller, and with that we get a lot of the drama and the tension built up very well throughout the show. The play is split up into different acts, all taking place throughout the night at different times, which is very conveniently placed on a little digital clock on the set. And I really enjoy the way the play makes you focus on this time as it gets closer and closer to 2:22. Especially during the opening of the play, where we see one of the moments before the dinner party where Jenny's character sees and experiences the ghost. This is where the horror aspects of the play come in. Despite it not being a horror story, it does incorporate some of these elements. A lot of these scares work as transitions to the show, leading us in from scene to scene. It's quite a clever transition, because ending each scene with a little jump scare and a little shout allows the audience that little bit of time to chat to one another, to talk during the transitional period about the mystery and the ideas unfolding. Every time that a transition would happen between the scenes, I have never seen an audience this willing to just quickly turn to their partner and go, oh my god, what's going on? What's happening? Oh my god, Cheryl's really good on stage. I wouldn't have expected that. Adding in different conspiracy theories about what's happening, why the mystery is unfolding. It's really interesting, and you can tell that the audience is really engaged into this story. That's when you know you have a really good play, when you can't wait to turn to the person next to you and talk about it, experience it. There's something very human about that. Typically, this is just saved for an interval, but these little moments sprinkled throughout the play, this little bit of downtime between the scenes, just gives you that little moment to speculate. It's something that would usually really annoy me, but here it really works. I will say the jump scares that they use aren't always that effective. It isn't the scariest show. I was going into this expecting to be extremely utterly scared. If you're expecting a hard horror, this isn't really it. It focuses on a lot of jump scare tactics, loud noises and bangs. I will say it did get me once or twice, but it's actually when it switched up the sound that they were doing to jump scare you. I feel like having a bit more variation in these jump scares would have been interesting to see. And for the most part, I think the mystery is really well written. I went to see this with Mickey Jo Theatre and Aaron James, and while neither me nor Aaron had seen it before, Mickey had. And Mickey let us know the different hints about the twist after the show. It is very interesting how they foreshadow this, and it's really clever. It's done in a way that you're not expecting it the first time that you see it. It comes a little bit out of left field, but all of the clues are there that it feels very justified. The twist is fun. The twist is very interesting. I really enjoy it. Obviously, I can't talk about it much, but I will say that out of the different shows that I've seen with a twist, this is one of the stronger ones. I do wonder how it affects rewatchability. So if anyone has seen 222 multiple times, obviously without spoiling what happens, what did you feel about seeing the play again? How did you view it differently on a second time around? Especially because this is a show that's used casting to get audiences back in again to see this play multiple times, despite it feeling, at least from my perspective, only having seen it once, as a play that would be very one and done. Talking of casting, this play has been very clever to get some big name actors into the show in every one of its different runs. Giovanni Fletcher, Stephanie Beatrix, Tom Felton, Mandip Gill. These are interesting names, a lot of them coming from the acting world, but still having a recognizability to get people into seats. As this is a show that came up just after the COVID pandemic, theatre was struggling. I don't mind this kind of casting. And I think it's always worth your time to give a casting choice that you may see as a stunt cast a bit of a chance. People have an ability to surprise you, and that's where we get to talk about Cheryl. When Cheryl was announced to be going into 222, there was a lot of talk and a lot of laughter, and I will admit, I had a little chuckle to myself, because it came out of left field. It's very much not what you're expecting to hear that a Spice Girl would be going into a West End play. Especially a West End play like 222 that markets itself as a dark ghost story. But honestly, that's kind of genius. It's genius marketing, because you don't know what to expect from her. If you hear that Cheryl's been cast in a musical, yeah, she's a musician, she's a singer, you know, that makes sense. But then when you hear that Cheryl's been cast in a play, that's interesting, that's different, and it builds talk, and as we have learned, bad publicity can be good publicity. Even so, Cheryl does a really good job in 222. I have to give her credit. She plays the role really well. She gets the role of Jenny. She is the one who sees the ghost, and she's very paranoid throughout the show. There are moments where her character can seem a little bit one note, because for the most part, her character is mostly just distressed. But I think there's a lot of fun moments with the character. She's trying to be proved right. She has clear motive. She's fed up of not being appreciated in the relationship or appreciated for who she is. There's a lot about belief that they touch on, and how in a relationship you're meant to believe in each other. Maybe in this relationship they don't. And there's a lot of anger that comes out and a lot of arguments. I think Cheryl does a very good job at portraying this role. There are moments where I wish that things were built up a little bit more, there was a bit more thought of the character journey, but she's a believable character. She's got the stage presence, she's got the acting chops, and she manages to keep up very well. Opposite her is Sam, played by Scott Karim. Sam in the play is a skeptic. He's very skeptical about everything going on. He's the one who doesn't believe in ghosts. He's got a very scientific mind. There's a lot to play around with in this role. I'm not sure if Karim quite reaches it. I have a similar thing with him where the arguments aren't quite built up enough. There's a lot of tension in this play that's constantly bubbling, and I wish there was a nicer rise to it, rather than it just being pushed to anger a little bit too quickly. It's a little bit nitpicky, but it's something that really makes a tense scene even more interesting, because you want to see this tension bubbling, you want to see it rising, so that you're getting more and more closer into this action. You want to see this argument build and build and build and build till it gets to its climax. That is what interests an audience. The part of Scott's portrayal that I really enjoyed is his skepticism. I feel like he plays as the character would see it, sane one quite well. And I like how he bounces off the different characters. But in this specific cast, my two standouts are the two guests at the dinner party. Jake Wood returns to the role of Ben in this production. He originally played it in the first cast, of which he won a What's on Stage award for it. And in this cast, you can tell that he is the one who is used to this role and that he's been in it for longer and he's done it before. Wood plays Laura's partner, who is a working class man. He's a little bit controversial in his opinions, I will say, and this leads to a lot of great conflicts between him and Sam. And Wood plays this up really well. He's not the most important character in terms of the play as a whole. He is the one that feels a bit sidelined, and he's not really a part of the relationship as much as the other three. However, he's a really nice addition, and his role balances a lot of the show, adding a nice extra element to the relationships. But I think the standout of this cast is Louise Ford as Lauren. Lauren is an old friend of Sam, and she acts a lot of the time as a neutral voice for Sam and Jenny to talk to. She goes back and forth on her beliefs a little bit, and you can tell there's a deep unhappiness within her. Ford plays this really well. We see her in the more comedic moments as she's getting drunker and drunker, and even in her more sober moments, where she takes a more somber approach as we learn more about her as a character, which I'm not going to really touch on the details of because I found this was an element that I really enjoyed not being spoiled on. I would say at the cast, she was my favourite. I think on the whole, despite my little nitpicks with a couple of them, this is a strong cast. All four of the roles get their moment to shine, and all four actors do a very good job. I think the play is very tense and moving and unnerving, and the conflicts are so high that there is a lot to play with as an actor in these roles. Finally, let's talk about the production elements. I really like the set, the kind of Victorian broken down house as they're halfway through renovating it. It feels perfect for this kind of eerie thriller horror aspect to the play. I've spoken about the digital clocks in two different locations on the set. These are perfect for building tension as we ever get closer and closer to 222. There are moments where you can even hear the audience going, ooh, okay, I can see the number, it's ticking up, we're getting closer and closer and closer, oh, what's going to happen? The lighting does a very good job at setting the atmosphere, along with the sound. There's a lot of very tense moments where there isn't quite a jump scare, but it almost starts to hint to one, as you hear an eerie sound in the background, a soft groan, or just the music cue building and building, and you're expecting something. Somebody's alone on stage, something's going to happen, and then a character walks in. It's really good at building this eerie atmosphere and almost giving the sense of paranoia that the characters feel in the play. This idea of something coming, getting closer and closer to you, but you don't know that something's coming, but you don't know when. But it's getting closer, and it's coming, and it's coming, and it's building, and it's building. You can hear it, and you can feel the tension. I love these moments. These are the moments that really got me. And I think it's a testament to how this play's sound design really helps build this and uses the aspects of different horror plays to play around with the genre and your expectations of what this play will be. 222 is very effective in what it does. It's a strong play, very engaging, very gripping, with conflicts and drama that's just so thrilling to watch. I would give this production a very strong 4 stars. I think the cast do a great job, including Cheryl, who definitely surprised me. And the play has just this perfect way of engaging you into its mystery and really exploring the different themes of grief and ghosts and spirits, and even touching into religion and belief. I would highly recommend 222 now. I can see the exact reasons why this play has gripped so many people. And I'm sure it's already planning 50 different runs in every other West End theatre, so I'm sure you're going to get the opportunity to go see it. But what do you think? Have you seen 222? Let me know your thoughts. Who did you see in the show? I'm very interested to see which different casts everyone has seen. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribing. It really helps me and helps out the channel. There's some links to my other videos on screen right now, and a link to my Instagram if you want to drop me a follow over there. But that's it for me today, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!